what did I actually end up reading in June? Even though I had a 2-week reading slump, I still read 16 books. Some were really good. We have quite a few 5 stars in this list, and some were just okay, and some I'm wondering if they put me in the reading slump. I started off the month with a buddy read, and it was Fable. Took me a lot of processing to really come up with how I was feeling about it, and I ended up rating it 3.75, and I actually have to change my rating on Fable. Yeah, I think I ended up rating, no, actually, because I'm looking at my rating on Fable, and I read this at the beginning of the month, so I'm having to think. I think I actually ended up rating this 3 stars. And I had to read the second book. I was so disappointed by the ending of the first book, by the way, that I had to read the second book just to make sure that what I was thinking about wasn't really crazy. So Fable was a 3-star book. It hurts me to give that rating because it's a Black author in the fantasy space, and the last thing that I want to do is tell you guys that I don't recommend this book, but I also want to be honest and I want to be candid, and I'm not just going to put my name behind something because I want it to be great. I want it to be great, but it's not for me. And for some people, it really did work. In the buddy read, it's 3 of us in the buddy group anyway, and one of the 3 of us is a die-hard fan of this, and I'm like, no. So yeah, I will not be recommending this. After that, the next book that I read is Teddy Spencer Isn't Looking for Love. I did the challenge of reading gay romances with Black main male characters. I started off that challenge with Teddy Spencer Isn't Looking for Love, and I was disappointed by this. Yeah, it was the wrong way to start off the challenge with this read. It's interesting because I have since gotten so many recommendations of books that have Black main male characters or feature a totally Black cast, which is really good, really awesome, and I'm really feeling it. But Teddy Spencer Isn't Looking for Love was not a great addition to this list because of what the reading goal was. For the story in general, I ended up rating this at 3.5. Because it was funny. If somebody was reading it, I would be like, oh, okay, cool, you're reading that. But I wouldn't personally recommend it for myself or for anybody else. But if they're reading it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, you read that, that's nice. But yeah, I wouldn't read it again either. The next book that I read was Dire Bound by Sable Sorensen, and I really had a good time with this. It was a new experience for me reading a book that had dire wolves and all of this kind of thing. The book also has vampires. And yeah, it was really good. It was a really good time. There was a big chunk of the book that was very repetitive and slow, and I feel like it could have used a lot of editing. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it. And the only reason that this book didn't get 5 stars is because of that chunk in the middle. But I enjoyed the first bit so much, and I enjoyed the last bit so much. So yeah, that was a nice change after reading Teddy Spencer Isn't Looking for Love. The next book that I picked up after Dire Bound was Quest of Awakening. And I ended up giving this book 5 stars. This is a YA fantasy romance. And I had such a good time with this. It had surprisingly crass language in it at some points. So I do have to give the trigger warning that if you are sensitive about language, then maybe think about whether or not you want to pick that up. I was surprised. I was surprised at the level of bigotry in the language, but those kind of people exist, those opinions exist, so it is what it is. But yeah, I was genuinely surprised. But I love the story. I love our 2 characters together, and I loved our 2 characters apart. Yeah, my initial rating of this was not 5 stars, but in order for a book to get 5 stars from me, it has to really have an emotional impact. It has to be one of those books that I can't stop thinking about it, and Quest of Awakening is definitely one of those books. So I ended up changing my initial rating to 5 stars a couple of days after I read it because I could not get the book off of my mind. So Quest of Awakening, I definitely do recommend this. If you are sensitive about language though, be careful. The book that I picked up after that was The Night and the Moth, and I enjoyed it, and I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. But in hindsight, I think that I enjoyed the Gargoyle much more than I enjoyed the FMC or the MMC. And I don't know if that's the problem. Like, the Gargoyle made the story for me. And I think I probably would have DNF'd this book if the Gargoyle wasn't there. So does this merit 4.5 stars? I don't know. Maybe there was some other reason I did give this 4.5 stars, but the overall lasting impression that I have from this book is the Gargoyle. And even when I posted like short form content about this, everybody comments about the Gargoyle and not necessarily the two main characters. And I have to ask myself, is that bad? Should there be, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with my rating of 4.5 stars. And yeah, I'm gonna move forward. Would I read the second book? Yeah. I'm not dying for it, but it was good. It was enjoyable. You know what? Now, in hindsight, now that I'm thinking about these books and I'm going over these books, maybe like the reading slump was just coming all along. After I read The Night and the Moth, I ended up picking up Meet Cute Club, and it was so nice. It was so cute. I really enjoyed this story, and I had a good time with it. Our MMC really reminds me of an MM version of Kingfisher. I've made that comparison. If you've read Quicksilver and you enjoyed how blatantly crass Kingfisher was with his innuendos, then yeah, I think that you would really enjoy Meet Cute Club if you read MM romance. But yeah, if you did not like that, then I don't think that you would like this. But for me, this was a 5-star read. And yeah, I really enjoy the story. It's really cute. I had a good time with this and I would definitely recommend it. So yeah. After I read Meet Cute Club, I ended up reading one of the most overrated books of the year, Shield of Sparrows. It was okay. It wasn't really anything it was just okay for me. It's funny because when I was reading this, I thought to myself, this came out at the same time as Silver Elite, and Silver Elite caused so much uproar because it was mid, right? But this isn't really better, and it didn't get the same amount of heat or attention. And honestly, I was very close to DNF in this book at many parts. So yeah, but I ended up rating this 4 stars. Was I just being generous with my ratings? I don't know. Like, a reading slump really makes you rethink what you give and what merits a really high rating and what doesn't. And I gave this 4 stars and it wasn't all of that. Maybe 3.75. I'm gonna have to go in my Fable and change a bunch of ratings. Oh my goodness. After I finished my read of Shield of Sparrows, I ended up reading Trick Play by Eden Finley. I had a good time with this. One of the main male characters is from North Carolina, and I listened to this via audiobook, and the Southern accent, y'all, there's something about a Southern accent, maybe because I'm a Georgia boy at heart. There is something about a Southern accent that is just gonna hit me every single time. I love me a Southern accent, and the voice actor did such a good job with the Southern accent. And I was like, the story was really good. I ended up this 5 stars. And I think in July, I definitely might continue on in this series because I really enjoyed it. This was really cute and I definitely do recommend. I enjoyed it a whole lot and I ended up giving it 5 stars. So yeah, definitely recommend this. I think this is called the Fake Boyfriend series. And yeah, I'm gonna continue reading. I can't wait. After reading Trick Play, I had another 5-star banger, which was I'm So Not Over You by Kosako Jackson. And this features another main male character from North Carolina. So families from North Carolina. And then the other MMC was from Georgia, where I'm from. And both of these characters were Black, and I really enjoyed that fact. But the way that they talked to each other, it felt very like, home to me, and it was so nice. And both of these books brought out a theme that I realized that I like rich boys in books. I like that. And I know that's totally like a trope, like rich dating or whatever. I like rich boys in books. And yeah, like rich Southern boys. Oh my God, the toxicity. Ugh. But I like it. I like it in the books. And I ended up rating both of these 5 stars. So yeah, that's definitely a trope that I like. But they both include a trope that I really don't like, which is the third act breakup. I cannot stand this trope. But the way that they were handled in these two books, Trick Play and I'm So Not Over You, I really like them. So yeah, they both got 5 stars from me. And yeah, this Quest of Awakening, these are highlights of the month for me, as well as Direbound. Like, good reads. I need to stop rating books so high on my Fable. The next book that I read was Cursebound by Sarah El Arifi. So this is book 2 after Faybound, then we have Cursebound. After I read Cursebound, I was pretty much sure that this story and maybe even this author is just not for me. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it. I think I ended up rating this book 2 stars. I know that there is a third book coming out this year, but I will not be picking that up. I don't think that the author needs me to give another bad rating on their book, and I don't really want to give another bad rating on their book. So yeah, I will not be recommending Cursebound. On Wings of Blood was the next book that I read. And I really super duper enjoyed this. I ended up giving this 5 stars at the time. It has almost been 3 weeks since I read this, so I do not remember what this is about anymore. That's bad. I don't remember what this is about anymore. So I think I'm going to take that 5-star away because, again, they need to leave an emotional impact, and I should not have forgotten what I read about. It was only 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm gonna end up rating that 4.5 stars only because I don't remember anymore. It must have been really good at the time because I gave it 5 stars right away, but yeah, I don't remember what it's about anymore. So I'm gonna lower that rating. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. So in my attempt to get out of this reading slump, I picked up Psycho Shifters by Jasmine because this year, I believe I read Blood of Hercules and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super duper funny. And I saw that Jasmine had other writings that I didn't know about before. So I picked up Psycho Shifters and I was right on the money. I ended up rating that 4.5 stars. Super duper enjoyed it, and it was starting to lift me out of the reading slump. It was really funny, but the slump was still persistent. And Echo Fort was released in the month of June, and after Psycho Shifters, I ended up reading Echo Fort. I was very pleased with Echo Fort. It took me a long time to read it because I was listening to it via audio in the slump, so it took me a while to read that, and I think that kind of influences how I rated Echo Fort. I ended up rating Echo Fort 4 stars, but I really enjoyed it though. After Echo Fort, I ended up picking up the second book in the Cruel Shifterverse series, which is what the Jasmine series is called. And this was Psycho Fae. And this is the lowest I rated a book in the series so far, and it was 4 stars for me because I felt like the story was rushed and it was very short, but it was good. It was still funny. It was still hilarious. Jasmine Mass is one of those authors that's really not afraid to go there, and I can really appreciate it. Also love how she writes about sexuality in her books. Like, it's very open, very free, very not concerned about your conservative opinion if you have one. And I love it. But yeah, I rated it 4 stars. I felt like the plot of the story could have been added to. And I didn't love the ending of the book, so I ended up at 4 stars. And then I read the last book in that first trilogy, which was Psycho Beast. And I had a really good time with that. It was funny. It was everything that I needed. And that's the end of Sadie's storyline, I believe, because the next 3 books are about Aaron, and yeah, but it doesn't feel like Sadie's storyline is complete. But I had a really good time with the first 3 books, and I ended up rating Psycho Beast, book number 3, 4.5 stars as well. I really enjoyed that, and I am going to continue on in the series, and I cannot wait to pick up these audiobooks because I have a feeling that I'm going to devour them. I'm going to eat them up. And the last book that I read was Of Darkness and Light by Ryan Cahill, and I finished that today before I started filming. I don't know how I feel about this. My rating as of today, I finished it today, like 2 hours ago, is 3.75. I don't know if I'm sticking with that or not. I'm enjoying things about this, but I don't think I like the writing style. I don't think I like it. Also, this author is like shamelessly stealing quite a few things from Robert Jordan, which is okay, I guess. But, and y'all know I love Robert Jordan. So anytime there's something that I know is Wheel of Time, like using spirit in order to cut someone off from their source of magic, y'all, come on. That, to me, that is very heavy-handed. That's very heavy-handed to me. Use something else. Like those 2 things, like that's quintessential Jordan. I don't know if I want to continue on in the series. That's the overall impression that I'm left with after finishing Of Darkness and Light, which is book 2 in this series by Ryan Cahill. And you guys know I love indie fantasy and indie fantasy romance. So yeah, I don't know about that. That's it. That's all I read this month. And it's so funny because me going through a reading slump, I still read my normal amount of books. My normal amount of books is anywhere between 16 and 20 in a month. So I'm actually not mad at this at all. I'm quite all right with this. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw, me babbling on. If you did, don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.